Hi, I'm Lance Thompson. We're back with Jane Merrow, continuing to talk about New Chilling Tales. So, sometime after the first one, you came to the United States.
That's right. My son said, would you like to come over and help out with the grandchildren? And I said, oh, yes, that would be fine. How long do you want me? He said, oh, about a year or so. And I said, okay. And I got here, and I had my 2 days a week heavy duty with my grandson. And I thought, what am I going to do with the rest of the time? So I suddenly found this group called the Idaho Media Professionals. I thought, well, they sound interesting. I'll go along and check them out and see what that's all about. And I went along and found some good people who seemed to be interested in film and wanted to do film and so on. And I thought, well, maybe we should do another Chilling Tale or make a sort of series out of it. And if I'm going to do one, I must do an American story, because there's some great, wonderful American classic Gothic writers. So Edgar Allan Poe was a natural, because he's possibly one of the very best known. And I thought The Telltale Heart would be great. And I found a lovely lady, Sue Cashmark, who agreed to produce with me. And Sue was terrific. She knew all about it. She knew how we were going to get money and grants and everything else. And we got all of that worked. And then we had to get a director, which was Greg Green. And Greg was a professional and wonderful and had done a lot of good work in the industry. Yes, he would direct it. Now we needed a location. And this is going to be a bit more challenging, because it's a period location. Aha! The Basque Museum.
Oh,
because I adapted the screenplay, and as I said before, it's really easy to adapt these screenplays, because the words have already been written by somebody much better than me. So all you do is take those words and put them into a script. And I thought the Basque Museum, that would work as a boarding house somewhere set in Middle America. So we went down and charmed the man down there and said, can we film in your museum if we don't destroy it? And he said, all right, yes, okay. So we got that.
Wow.
And then we started to get the crew together, and we needed a really good DP, because we were going to be shooting in a space of the size of about 5 by 5. I mean, it seemed to me it was really, well, it was very small. It was a bit bigger than that. And someone said, oh, well, there's this great DP that shot on this film with Greg. Why don't we bring him up from LA? And I thought, bring him up from LA. That's going to be difficult. We're not going to pay airfares and hotel and all of that. All right. We're already bringing our lead actor in, was Darren Burrows, who had a name from Northern Exposure? Northern Exposure that he did. And Darren had agreed to do it, and we were squeezing the budget to have him. And I thought, no, we're really going to squeeze the budget to have this DP. But I thought, all right. And then the next thing I hear is he wants to bring his equipment. Oh. Difficult, another temperamental man. Oh. So he came up, and he brought his equipment, and I wasn't very keen on him, and I don't think he thought much of me. He was a difficult producer. I don't know, whatever lights and cameras and all that stuff he needed to work with. But in fact, it turned out that we bought ourselves a little treasure, because not many people had the skill and the patience and everything to shoot in that tiny room that we had.
So this amazing DP who was able to shoot in a 5 by 5 phone booth yes. space, who is that? Is that somebody local?
He is now. He was living in LA at the time. His name's Lincoln Lewis, and I think people around here will know who he is. And I think he has now moved up here.
Yes, he is.
Because he likes living here.
Yes, very good.
But at that time he was living in LA, which was not very convenient for us.
He probably didn't know about us.
No.
Now he does.
And we had to, I don't want to give the story away, but we had to bury a body under the floorboards. Now, do you think the Basque Museum were going to let us dig up their floorboards? I don't think so. So Marie built us a marvelous false floor.
Wow.
So that we could pull up the planks and have the body underneath it. And all in all, the experience was terrific. And I was so impressed with the crew here and the people that I worked with. And I think we had a good, happy experience. And that really is a story of The Telltale Heart. And I think we've turned in a particularly good little film with that.
And continuing to use actual locations rather than building sets seems to be a
absolutely
tradition with you.
Yep.
All right, well, let's take a look at Telltale Heart. It was an Edgar Allan Poe story from 1843, and this is the New Chilling Tales version. Have a look.
True, nervous, very dreadfully nervous I have been in heaven. Why will you say that I am mad? Mad men know nothing. However, my senses were sharpened. Above all, the sense of hearing acute. Oh, you should have seen me. I did nothing to make you think me mad. I heard all things in heaven and in earth. I heard many things in hell. It is impossible to say how the idea first entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object, there was none. Passion, there was none. I lived here. The old man's room was up the staircase. Mine was close by. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold, I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, I think it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of that eye forever. Now, this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, and with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. Closed. Always closed. How are you, sir? And how did you pass the night, my good friend?
Fine. Fine. I thank you.
Good. 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 No untoward noises to disturb you then?
No. 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 I thank you.
Night 8.
Who's there?
Oh, I know that groan. It is one of mortal terror. It arises from the bottom of the soul. And now he is telling himself not to be afraid, telling himself it is only the wind in the chimney. But, my friend, it is death, death approaching.
Sir, one of your neighbors reported hearing a dreadful shriek coming from this house, and we're here to investigate.
A cry, you say? I'm afraid that was me, officer. At times I have terrible dreams and I cry out in my sleep.
We heard that there was an old man lodging here as well.
Oh, yes, and my dear friend he is, but he's away in the country at the moment. Why don't you come in? Then you can see for yourself. Come. The old man's room is up here. Come in. I want to show you my friend's room. Have a seat. Sit for a spell before you leave. My friend keeps some gold under the bed.
Now you are alone. Have you lived in the city long?
Yes, well, about 3 years now. The city is such an interesting place. I grew up in the country and clerk here now.
I moved there from the country too.
Oh, well then you know! Ha! It certainly takes some getting used to, doesn't it? The city. It's almost like a living, breathing thing with the constant beating. Yes, you do hear it, don't you? Well, I don't envy you your jobs. constantly investigating. That neighbor, he's always hearing things too. Ah.
We'll leave you alone now.
Oh, well, if you must go. Thank you for coming. Allow me to show you out. Oh, you do hear it, don't you? You must. Liars, villains, will dissemble no more. I admit the deed. I admit it. It is here under the planks. Here is the beating of his hideous heart.